Imagine a world where one empire ruled over half the known planet, from the misty shores of Britain to the sun-baked sands of Egypt. This was Rome at its peak, a colossus of engineering, law, and power. But even giants fall. In this video, we'll journey through the dramatic collapse of the Roman Empire, uncovering the betrayals, battles, and blunders that brought it crashing down. Pause by the end, you'll see why its fall still echoes in our modern world. Stick around as we start with the empire's unstoppable rise, setting the stage for the chaos to come. History isn't just dates, it's a gripping story of human ambition and frailty. It all began with Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon in 49 BC, sparking civil wars that forged the empire. Augustus, his adopted heir, became the first emperor in 27 BC, ushering in the Pax Romana 2 centuries of relative peace and prosperity. Rome's borders expanded to 5 million square kilometers, its roads connecting distant provinces like modern highways. Pause for emphasis, aqueducts brought water to thirsty cities, and the Colosseum hosted spectacles that united the masses. But beneath this golden age, seeds of discord were sown. Economic strains from constant wars drained the treasury, and the empire's sheer size made governance a nightmare. As we move forward, watch how these early successes started to unravel. By the 2nd century AD, under emperors like Trajan and Hadrian, Rome reached its territorial zenith. But the cracks were appearing. The empire was divided into the wealthier east and the poorer west, with Constantinople emerging as a rival hub. Inflation soared as silver coins were debased to fund armies, eroding trust in the currency much like hyperinflation in our own economic crises. Slavery, the backbone of the economy, stifled innovation, leaving Rome dependent on conquest for growth. Meanwhile, the military, once a pillar of strength, became politicized. Generals vied for the throne, leading to the Year of the Four Emperors in 69 AD, a bloody preview of instability. As internal rot set in, external threats loomed on the horizon. The 3rd century brought the crisis of the 3rd century, 50 years of chaos with over 20 emperors, many assassinated. The empire splintered into breakaway states. But worse were the barbarians at the gates. Germanic tribes like the Visigoths and Vandals, pushed by Hunnic invasions from the east, hammered Rome's borders. In 410 AD, Alaric the Visigoth sacked the Eternal City itself, the first time in 800 years. Imagine the horror, citizens fleeing as temples burned, a symbol of invincibility shattered. Emperor Honorius, safe in Ravenna, reportedly cared more for his chickens than the catastrophe. These raids exposed the legion's weaknesses. Underpaid, undermanned, and reliant on barbarian recruits who turned against their Roman masters. Diocletian tried to save the empire in 284 AD by dividing it into a tetrarchy, 4 rulers for better control. It worked temporarily, but Constantine's victory at Milvian Bridge in 312 AD shifted power eastward. He founded Constantinople in 330 AD as the new capital, a Christian stronghold. For drama, Christianity, once persecuted, became the state religion under Theodosius in 380 AD, dividing loyalties in a pagan-rooted society. The West, however, languished. Emperors like Valentinian I focused on defense, building walls like the one along the Danube. Yet corruption festered, tax evasion by the elite burdened the poor, leading to widespread revolts. The stage was set for the West's terminal decline, as East and West drifted apart like estranged siblings. In the 5th century, the Western Empire faced relentless pressure. Attila the Hun ravaged the Balkans in 441 AD, his hordes a terrifying force of horse archers. The Vandals crossed into Africa in 429 AD, seizing Rome's breadbasket and navy. Britain was abandoned by 410 AD, its legions withdrawn to defend Italy. Gaul and Spain fell to Visigoths and Suebi, fragmenting the provinces. Emperor Aetius, the last strongman, defeated Attila at the Battle of the Catalaunian Plains in 451 AD, a temporary reprieve. But internal strife persisted. Ricimer, a barbarian general, puppeted weak emperors like Majorian, who tried reforms but was betrayed and murdered in 461 AD. Rome's defenses crumbled, much like a house of cards in a stiff wind. The military's transformation sealed the fate. Once citizen soldiers, the legions now depended on foederati, barbarian allies paid in land. Loyalty waned as these Romans harbored grudges. Economic collapse exacerbated everything, trade routes disrupted by raids, leading to shortages and urban decay. Cities like Rome shrank from 1 million to mere tens of thousands. The elite hoarded wealth in villas, abandoning public works. By 455 AD, the Vandals sacked Rome again, stripping it bare. Empress Galla Placidia's era of intrigue highlighted the court's dysfunction, puppets on strings pulled by generals. As the West teetered, the Eastern Empire under Justinian watched, occasionally aiding but ultimately prioritizing its own survival. Odoacer, a Germanic warlord, emerged as the key figure. In 476 AD, he deposed the boy emperor Romulus Augustulus, a symbolic end, as real power had long evaporated. No dramatic battle, just a quiet abdication. The Eastern Emperor Zeno accepted this, naming Odoacer king of Italy rather than emperor. The West's fall wasn't sudden but a slow bleed from overextension, corruption, and invasion. Climate change, like the late antique Little Ice Age around 536 AD, worsened plagues and famines, hitting an already weakened society hard. Population plummeted, infrastructure decayed. Yet this wasn't total annihilation. Roman law, language, and culture persisted in the East as Byzantium and influenced medieval Europe. The fall accelerated the migration period or barbarian invasions, reshaping Europe. Franks under Clovis founded a kingdom in 481 AD, blending Roman and Germanic ways. In Italy, Odoacer ruled until 493 AD, when Theodoric the Ostrogoth overthrew him, establishing a Gothic kingdom that mimicked Roman administration. These barbarians weren't destroyers but adapters, preserving much of Rome's legacy. The West fragmented into kingdoms, but the Eastern Empire thrived for another millennium, reconquering parts under Justinian in the 6th century. The fall was more transformation than extinction, a phoenix from the ashes, if you will. As we approach the climax, reflect on how Rome's end was the birth of our medieval world. Here's the turning point. August 23, 476 AD. Odoacer enters Ravenna, forces the child emperor to abdicate, and sends the imperial regalia to Constantinople. Dramatic pause, the last Western emperor vanishes into obscurity on a villa estate. This moment, etched in history books, marks the conventional end of the Roman Empire in the West. But why did it happen? A perfect storm. Military overstretch, economic failure, leadership voids, and relentless migrations. No single villain, but a chorus of failures. It's a stark reminder that even the mightiest structures can topple from internal decay. As the dust settles, we see not just loss, but the seeds of a new era dawning amid the ruins. The fall's legacy is profound. Roman law inspired the Napoleonic Code, its engineering marvels like roads and bridges still stand. Latin evolved into Romance languages spoken by millions today. Christianity, spread by Rome, shaped Western civilization. Think of it, the EU's unity echoes Rome's dream, while its divisions warn of overambition. In our polarized world, Rome's story urges us to address economic inequalities and external threats before they overwhelm. The empire didn't vanish, it transformed, influencing everything from democracy to daily life. As we conclude, remember, history's lessons are timeless guides for navigating our own empires of tech and global power. We've traversed centuries from Rome's glory to its poignant end. What strikes you most, the hubris of emperors or the resilience of its people? Share in the comments. How does the fall of Rome relate to today's challenges like climate migration or political instability? If this story ignited your curiosity, hit like, subscribe to Visual History for more epic tales, and ring the bell for notifications. Explore the Silk Road next or the Renaissance's rebirth. Your views shape our journey. Thanks for watching. History awaits your discovery. Until next time, keep questioning the past to illuminate the future.